Richard.
Yes. Yes, guys. Yes, we're ready to go. Okay, so we're going to do a quick interview with Upbound. Tobias here is going to give us a quick update on what's been happening with Upbound, and yeah, maybe kind of the feel for day one at KubeCon, and also just kind of talk a little bit about the customer challenges that they've been sort of been part of this discussion. So Tobias, please a quick intro to yourself first, and then we can go from there.
Thank you so much. Yeah, my name is Tobias. I'm based in Berlin, and I work as a solutions architect at Upbound. We're the builders of Crossplane, and our product is Crossplane for enterprises.
Fantastic. So what's kind of some of the latest stuff? We're obviously aware of Crossplane and kind of its capabilities and so on, but what's kind of some of the latest stuff that you guys have been working on? What's some of the new features that you introduced into Crossplane?
So definitely worth mentioning the release of Crossplane 2.0, which also includes like our distribution of Crossplane, which we call UXP. So UXP 2.0 gives you like a more enterprise way of deploying Crossplane. So it includes a UI, it includes backup and restore, sophisticated secrets management with a secrets proxy. So if you don't want your secrets to live in etcd, you can launch, host them on Vault or a secrets manager, and Crossplane will proxy the secrets so that they never touch your etcd. We also do fleet management with Crossplane. So we have a product called Spaces, which is available as a cloud offering, also as a self-hosted installation. And that's usually our journey with bigger customers. So they come to us and they want to manage Crossplane on scale. So usually you need good isolation. You need the ability to quickly create a control plane and delete a control plane. And we solve all that by giving them our abstraction of a control plane, which is you're just going to talk to a Kubernetes API, and you say kubectl create control plane, and it will create a control plane. And also worth mentioning that on top of that, we build our own developer experience tooling. So you can work with strict typing. You get autocomplete in your IDE. It works very well with agents. You have like a whole testing framework, so you can use unit testing, what we call composition tests. It also supports E2E testing, which again, if using Upbound Cloud, it integrates very well because like the whole E2E test lifecycle will be managed by the tooling. So what usually would take you hours of creating a control plane, installing Crossplane, installing providers, configuring it, you can all do this in a declarative way. Also with strict typing, so if you do a typo somewhere, you don't need to wait until something fails down the line. It will catch it early, and so you can test your whole thing with one command. It will bring everything up, check if it's healthy, delete it, and once it sees everything, it's deleted again. You're good to go, and you know your stuff will work in production.
Fantastic. So, Tobias, obviously a lot of customers these days are in multi-cloud, so they're using more than one public cloud, maybe a hybrid with a back-end data center, maybe OpenShift or something like that. How's kind of Crossplane helping those customers? I know it kind of has the capabilities of it, but what are kind of customers talking to you about when it comes to a multi-cloud environment?
That's a great question, because Crossplane was built with exactly that in mind, to give you a unified abstraction on top of whatever you want to manage, right? So as long as what you're trying to manage supports a CRUD-like API, so you create something, you update, delete, whatever, as long as you can do that, it's compatible with Crossplane. And Crossplane has this composition layer, which allows you to create custom resources, which abstract all that complexity away. So you could have like an implementation of a storage bucket, for example, and you can use that as a facade or proxy to create a bucket on AWS or create a bucket on Azure or wherever you want, actually. So Crossplane was built with exactly that in mind, and that's a problem it solves very well.
Fantastic. So you're obviously here at KubeCon Amsterdam. What's customers been telling you? What's kind of some of the challenges that you've been hearing from customers coming up to you, at the stand and having conversation? What's kind of some of the things that's sort of wearing heavy on their minds at the moment, and how's maybe Upbound sort of supporting that and helping with that?
So I touched already on some of them. So like scaling Crossplane is a big thing because usually people install Crossplane on a cluster, and once you want to test something, you need another cluster, and that raises your cost quite a bit, quite quickly. Another big one is adoption. Like, how do we get our people to adopt Crossplane once you start using it in an enterprise setup? And that's actually a lot about developer experience, because people are like, well, I'm a Python developer, but I also want to build cross-plane compositions. So how do I do that? And Upbound built tooling for that. So you can actually write your compositions in Python, and you can use strong types there. And what else? Like, we see a lot of corporate networking, so where people use Zscalers and stuff, and like we build proxying and CA override capabilities in all our tools. You can host our software in a completely air-gapped setup. So that's usually the biggest pain points.
Right, and obviously some of these tools, there's always the concern about, you know, things like vendor lock-in and so on. But you guys kind of being open source and available, being able to address, you know, multiple cloud platforms as well, that makes it a little bit easier for customers, I guess, as well. And maybe a safer bet in these days where kind of, you know, software licensing is changing for, you know, for the open source space.
Well, that's a good point. I think like the whole way we build and deploy software, especially in the age of AI, is rapidly changing, and you need that flexibility now more than ever, right? So on top of that, like, our product is not supposed to lock you in either, right? So like what we provide with UXP, for example, is just a drop-in replacement for Crossplane. So we take vendor neutrality very seriously. So we also want to offer that with our product. Of course, if you use our enterprise features, you cannot just go back to open source Crossplane. But if you use open source Crossplane right now and you just want to give UXP a try, you can just do that. And if you don't like it, you can just roll back by just switching the Helm release, and you're good to go.
Fantastic. Well, Tobias, I appreciate your time. Thanks very much. It's been a very useful conversation.
Thank you so much.